Perfect. Folks, welcome to today evening. We're over here to talk about strategies and best practices which will increase D2C sales, e-commerce sales during festive season. I'm Aniket Sharma. I've spent about a decade and a half in cloud compute and CDN content delivery space. I have advised large brands, D2C and e-commerce brands and media brands on how to accelerate their digital properties, how to engage more users, how to get more conversions, do more sales. I've worked with brands like AWS, Limelight CDN in US, Nielsen prior to that. I work presently with Nitrogen, or N7 in short, where we help accelerate D2C brands by improving their web performance and SEO ranks. I'm here today because we're going to give out some interesting tips about what we can do in our festive season to get an edge over our competitors, essentially. For any D2C site or e-commerce brand who is right now with us on this podcast, we'll be giving you some tips and tricks which we have seen work in the industry, um, which have proven great results in the past, and learning all the learnings that we've basically squeezed out of all the conversations we've had with so many brands over the years. We'll try and bring the top ones out over here. My only ask out of the audience is feel free to share a lot of questions. Let's make this very interactive. It's more fun. It's an exciting topic to discuss anyhow, and it'll be more fun if it's very interactive. Before we get to the start of it, let's just have a short conversation about why this festive season. Why is it important for us to do this? I mean, it's a very fairly intuitive question, right? Everyone knows festive season is important, but every year, every passing year, it becomes more and more competitive. This year, the records show that the very first week sales of Diwali festive season was, or Diwali at the Shara season right now, had 25% more sales happening than last year. This has been a trend. In fact, if you go 5 years back, you'll see every year the number of sales that are happening online in festive season increases significantly. That means that the space is getting more competitive, more users are coming, more brands are coming over there. This year, the major focus has been on electronics. The trend seems to show that televisions, mobile phones, and accessories have been the number one contributor. I think it contributes to something as high as 75% of total sales that have happened in the festive season. But there is a huge uptake for other brands also, like fashion and quite a few other jewelry and other brands out there. We'll be covering some of those topics today as to what causes this uptake. How do you manage this uptake from a tech standpoint, from a strategy standpoint? I'd like to introduce Amit, who's here with us. He's our chief guest for the podcast. Amit, big welcome to you. I'll share a bit about Amit. So, Amit has spent about 25 years and he has a vast experience in managing D2C business for Indian and overseas brands. He's worked with brands like Ola, like Disney, Nerolac, Duroflex, SR, and Bombay Time. He's presently the chief business officer at Neiman's. He brings extensive experience in brand management, e-commerce, retail, D2C channels, and his insights are going to be exciting. I'm excited to hear about what his insights will be, and you can ask him questions on today's podcast. I see that Amit probably has some connectivity issues right now because of which his feed is fluctuating. I'd want to give it a minute for him to get stabilized. In the meantime, if some of you have already joined in and started getting tuned in, you may want to start dropping some comments, some questions. What's happening on your side? What are you buying in this festive season yourself? What are you selling in this festive season? If you represent a D2C or e-commerce brand, what's working for you? What's not working for you? If you have any questions, you can start putting that in. Hey, in the meantime, I also see Amit is back. Hey, Amit, welcome back to the call.
Hey, sorry guys, some technical glitch happened.
No worries. Amit, I was just introducing you to our audience. If you would like to talk in a word or two before we start off.
I think it's a thanks for inviting me. Thanks to the N7 team. Uh, in the D2C space, we are in exciting time. The D2C space is moving at a very fast pace, and I think the days we are sitting is the in for any brand who is in D2Cs or into the retail sector also is the month where the maximum conversion and revenue happens. The data says that this month of Diwali, if you consider 30 days, it generally contributes 3 months of revenue in any given point of time in the annual calendar of the business. So I think it's an exciting time and exciting journey for everyone.
Lovely. Absolutely agree. 3 months of sale in festive season. Amit, let's kick this off. My first question to you is, what should an e-commerce or a D2C brand prepare for before the festive season starts? What should we keep in mind?
There are, I always give this framework to people whom we are communicate. I think every brand or every D2C head or the team who is handling the D2C brands, they should actually plan their objective very clearly. This is the month where you can build the largest visibility for your brand and products. So your objective has to be very clear that I'm looking for uh, 2x growth, 3x growth, or 4x or 5x kind of a growth. Once you have the objective rightly planned, you need to do a proper planning around it. That to meet these kind of numbers, how much my website will contribute, how much marketplace will contribute, and what are the products who will contribute into this business. So the planning is very, very, very critical. And before the actually the entire euphoria starts, there is a curtain raises happen. So execution is very critical. That how fast you will able to execute your plan which you have set up for. And once this execution is correctly defined, then what brings is only efficiency. So for everything, you require all these four elements very critically aligned. So it be it takes a product, be it your marketing spends, be it on what you want to do it on your website, or marketplace, or distribution of the product, or the product and pricing. One factor always is there is that how you should have your entire data analyzed for the past 7 months before the Diwali starts, and where your customer base has been there, what traction has been there. So entire analysis, data analysis as a team, one should do properly. And then one should go with full guns blazing into the season and capitalize as much as possible.
Amit, you spoke about setting targets, and I think that's a first step for any important journey. How does a D2C brand decide whether they want 3x, 5x? What is it that they should realistically gun for? Does competitor play an important role in that? Does historical sales play the biggest role in that? What do you use to decide?
For any brand, uh, the order value doesn't matter. But if you have done from April to September, your cards right in terms of the product placement, pricing, and everything. I think the at industry record says that you can achieve 3x time of your BAU revenue easily. Now, to do that, obviously there are a lot of factors which are there, which is competition. So whatever your pricing structure is there, one needs to understand what is there. I always say why I'm using the word pricing structure. So there are your BAU price, which is your standard price, which at any given point of time should be the standard price if there are no man-made events. And then there are events which happens throughout the 7 months, be it Amazon's Prime Day or be a mini big PBD by Flipkart, then your Independence Day sales. Every time you see a traction which comes to your product or a brand at a certain level of discount. So if from BAU price less 5%, stay less 10% or 15%, you know the track at that traction how much revenue or a volume jump you have seen. And if you have analyzed that well, and if you take any one event as a proxy to your Diwali ones, so for example, let's take 2 days of Prime Days or Independence Day as a proxy to your business. I think
Mhm.
it's very easy to map from there that you have another 30 days like these 2 days of Prime Day as an example. And in this 30 days, what you can do, and that can be plotted across things. So, do you have enough stock? Have you bucketed enough marketing money? Have you planned enough top of the funnel, middle of the funnel, and bottom of the funnel across platforms and website? Because website, I'm saying it starts with Meta, Instagram,
Mhm.
and lot of contents which are there. And how attractive is your offer than your competition? So if you have done the, or as a customer, from a brand point standpoint of view, you've done the competitive study, the pricing plays really well for the customer. So really customers who has a brand affinity wait for these deals. They will do the add to the cart just prior to the season, and they will start converting from the day goes on. So it's all about understanding all the metrics for the previous 7 months, figuring out what levers you have, figuring out what traction you got over what kind of discounts in the prime days or the another man-made events. And if those tractions are enough to generate 3 times, 4 times, or that those are not sweet price points for the customer. So then someone has to go one level deeper into the pricing strategy.
Interesting. Amit, this is a conversation that I mean I've also had many times with a large number of D2C brands, and typically the question that comes towards me, once you've covered a lot of strategy from pricing standpoint, from positioning standpoint, from competitive standpoint, I get asked a lot of questions about tech readiness also. Any tips that you have on what one should look at before the festive season starts from a tech standpoint, be it from a security standpoint, scale standpoint, or any other?
Many things. I think festive season is the peak time when uh, any malicious things can happen about your website. You see a significant activity increase in the activity which happens on the bot also this time. So the
Mhm.
security is always plays a bigger factor in this kind of a thing. Okay. So there are tools which by which you can do a security assessment. You can understand it's called VAPT. You can do the vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. Okay, but generally that should be done 2 months prior to your season period. But there are many things. That's a one part of this. Second is all about understanding how your website is loading speed. Okay, how today 75 to 80% purchase is happening on the mobile. So they one has to test the mobile speed every time. Is my website is loading faster? Is not loading much faster on the this? And today you have to understand while it's easy to say that 75% of the purchase happens on the mobile. Mobiles and mobile screens and RAMs are different for every customer. That's the mistake major of the brand does. Okay. We look at the quality of images, quality of content which is getting. But the large challenge which is always there is how easily that website is getting loaded, be it an Android, be it in iOS, be it a different type of mobile, be it a 4.5-inch screen to 5.8, 5.9, 6.2, 6.3, 6.5, 6.9, and foldable and tabs.
Correct. Correct.
And, and it's a very, very critical element which major of the brands do not give a much more importance that what is the quality of your site speed and everything. So
Mhm.
that hygiene check has to be done by any brand first at any given point of time that and there are a lot of metrics and which speaks about it. If you drop your website speed by say just a 1 second also, it can result in means so loading time gets reduced by 1%. Your actually conversion can improve by any time between 5 to 7%. There is a matrix which proves it. Okay, the
One
customer
second.
satisfaction.
Wow.
Yeah, 1 second. And if you do the customer satisfaction survey with the customers also based on that, your customer satisfaction survey can go up by easily in double digit, anywhere between 15-16%. Okay. So those metrics are easily available. There are fantastic tools available to measure and understand. And this technical assessment everyone has to do on their brand.com first before they enter. I think all the testing should be done in 2 years. Is your checkout page working properly? Add to cart is happening properly? Are there any hiccups there? I think every elements once these are checked, I think that's a called full readiness for the festive.
Awesome. Amit, you spoke about that number and it stuck with me. I'm very excited because it is the number one question that comes to me in my field of work, which is if you improve the site speed, what is the expected improvement in conversion? And whilst I'm guessing that this number will vary from segment to segment, but as a whole, every second reduction in site speed, you called it out, and that's hitting the spot, it will give you more conversions, and that's proven. I think there are many studies around that. Where I feel the industry has to grow towards in this space, that earlier, the idea was to spend huge number of man hours on the tech side to work on the site's code to improve the site speed and performance, and that takes months of effort to understand where the site is not performing well, for whom the site is not performing well, and then to correct those things. Lately, I think there is a huge uptake in AI for understanding those things and making the site faster, not just for a general user, but specifically for each user. And that's an exciting trend that's coming into the industry. Any takes on that? Do you think that is something that can change the game for how site performance is viewed?
I think the site performance plays a key role for any brand. Why I say is because if your brand.com is contributing, say, anywhere between double digit, 10%, 20, 30, 40, or 50% to your revenue, or if it is whatever is the percentage contributing, and you want to increase your brand.com, because to get every customer to your website, you have a very high customer acquisition cost. Either you are bringing through a meta, which is uh, Facebook and Instagram. You are spending some money on the Google via search shopping engine or PMax ads. So what's happening every time you're putting some amount of money to get. Now, once he comes to your landing page, your home page, you need to understand what kind of quality experience you are giving him at that there. So either you're bringing him to straight away to your collection page, or you are bringing him to your home page, or you are bringing him to the particular product page. Everywhere is a speed matters. I have generally very few uh, the D2C team members give a much emphasis on the GT metrics, that it's my what is my FCP load time, LCP load time, collection page load time, product page load time. And they track it on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis to understand how it has improved. If once someone has identified the patterns, then obviously it's impact your revenue. Google gives certain amount of ratings. If anyone knows Google, when they crawl the website, they give certain amount of time. If the it's Google is going to take much up more than the budgeted time, they will really stop crawling the page. And if they don't crawl the page, your SEO will get affected, your business revenue gets affected. Eventually, what happens is your revenue gets affected, nothing else. And I have seen that measure of the brands when they upload their images, they upload particular pixel of images. It's not about uploading the particular pixel image, because when someone is looking at, say, XYZ Android or a uh, two generation prior phone, his loading time will be a different than what a new generation Pro phone will have. Now, do you want to give a differential loading time just because the two devices are different? No. So there are tools how to compress the images and actually put it across, irrespective of the device and RAM, to the every device. So you actually bring how to put a normalization or a democracy in terms of loading speed. That's how I can put it.
Interesting take on that. Democratization of it. Nice. Amit, say we've done the pre warm up, we've planned for things 1 month 2 month in advance. Now we've hit the festive season. Festive season will always bring a large amount of users onto the site. How do we convert these users into buyers? What can we do to get an edge over our competitors who are also trying to do the same?
I think any customer who is coming to your website, you should be very clear that what kind of funnel you have built up for him. There is a top of the funnel where the customers don't know who you are as a brand, but he has seen your ad and come. There is a middle of the funnel where he has interacted as a brand with you, but still not made up his mind. And someone are your existing customers who are coming. All three are important. That's why these funnels have been important in the industry. When he comes to the any brand.com or a website, the key factor is that how you are creating the navigation for him. Is the navigation easiest thing for him? Or what he's looking for is the most easiest? If as a brand you have, say, uh, SKUs which are running into 4 digits or more than that, then your entire filters and navigation becomes very critical. I am looking for something in men, I'm looking for something in women, I'm looking something into kids segment. What I'm looking into, can I click into one tab and get into that segment? If it's a fashion industry, it's all about sizes, it's all about colors, and how quickly he can get into the his or her choice of size and his and her choice of colors. And again, after that, you narrow down the choice of their offerings. It's very important. Otherwise, you should have your own AI-based WhatsApp bot where I can put a straight away question. I am looking for, I am a man or I am a he or she. I am looking for this product of this size and this color. And only I pop it up 4 to 5 options which are particular this. I think the reducing the time of customer navigation is the key things. I always like what Steve Jobs did with the uh, when the all the nano the pods were launched. He used to say in 3 clicks the customer should go to the song. It's like that. Can I take with the fewer clicks customer to the making
Right.
decision? So that's very important in the business and it impacts revenue a lot.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Amit, you touched upon giving the users the right products to view, understanding the segment, personalizing content for them. In that sense, I had an interesting thought on that. So, in again from a text perspective, well, that is on the marketing side. On the tech perspective, what we also try to do, or I've had this conversation with multiple larger brands where their focus on personalization is not just product, but also how that product gets displayed to the user, how the product reaches, how that content reaches the user, understanding the user journey, understanding their behavior, and personalizing it to that extent. Again, that's a field which is growing because of AI's advent into it, because that allows you to have the compute power to understand so many users, millions of users, and personalize it. But I'll ask a broader question: how important in your mind is personalization? What will be the difference in outcome for a brand which focuses on personalizing during festive season, and one which is offering the same products to everyone across landing pages, across offer pages?
I think it's a great question. In today's time, when people have started utilizing Netflix and Prime videos of the world, I think the choices what they're getting filtered is based on their likings. And everyone would like to see the preferences what he or she likes to see it on the brand.com. Now today AI tools are there and they have made the job super efficient and super simple for such kind of things. As I was just mentioning that, if you can create a product filter where I can just in 2 to 3 questions says what I'm looking for. I'm a he or a she, what product I'm looking into, what color looking into, and I can just pop it up and say only, okay, these are for while I am ranging from, I can give apparel, accessories, footwear, and many other products. And there are multiple segments into that. But if I go and put it very simply that I'm looking for a sneaker, I'm looking for walking, I'm looking into blue color, I'm looking into 7 size, and you know my everyday activities to walk or everyday activities for just to go to office. I want a comfortable. And from the all different offerings, I just show him 5 to 6 key products. I think the job of converting that customers becomes very easy. Otherwise, his choice making is so difficult that he has to navigate and scroll down multiple times to see what he likes, what price he likes, and what product attribute or a reason to buy, which as brand says we are looking into. These are very critical things. And that's super important from any brand point of view. That has to be done. There is no doubt about it. Everyone has to do it in a their brand point of view, but it's super important. You're on mute, Aniket.
Sorry. Okay. I'll circle back to a slightly older point. We were earlier talking about, from a conversion standpoint, we were talking about how speed impacts. How would how would a brand be able to identify whether their users are dropping off because the site is slow, because the content is not personalized? Is there a way to understand why the user does not engage so that it can? Because if you can't understand, it's very difficult to fix the problem.
Uh, in today, there are a lot of tools to understand what is your site speed. And I think that just understanding simple site speed is not important. You need to understand the granular content of the speed on the website. Obviously, this subject gets more technical, but in the interest of the broader audience, I think there are 6 to 7 key parameters which are into the website speed indexing. And if they understand those thoroughly and they track it for a pattern for last, say, 3 to 4 months or 5 months, everyone will understand what is the industry benchmark and what is the website currently loading at speed across all these segments.
Mhm.
Every time you change any category page, collection page, PDP page, it has an impact. You change a theme, there is an impact. You try to add new product images, refresh images, there is an impact. How many times brand has analyzed what it has, how it has impacted the website speed is very, very critical. As I just mentioned that, 1 second here and there can actually change the conversion by percentage to a 5 to 7%. So assume that, someone says, okay, I uploaded a one new section or a new category. There are 7 products are added and the category is looking fabulous. But if your website speed has loading time has gone up by 3 to 4 seconds, uh, might look 3 to 4 seconds, but those 3 to 4 seconds are so critical that customer, while loading, his patience for that 3 4 seconds is not as that as it used to be previous. Today, reels are 18 seconds, and the hook has to come between 3 to 4 seconds. If there is no hook, that reel also no one sees for 18 seconds. So
Correct.
we are actually talking in seconds here. And if those 2 to 3 seconds get added, your conversion might drop substantially. Okay, that is the only reason I was saying that in when people are buying on mobile device, your website should be optimized for every device. I am testing my product on say Pro devices of Android and iOS, and so it's loading faster. But there might be a someone who is sitting in Jabalpur and Bhubaneswar who is might be fan of your brand, and his phone might be 2 generation older Android, and he's taking 7 seconds to load. Obviously, what kind of experience he will get it? He will say, no, it's not loading. At the same time, your competition page gets loaded in 2 seconds, which is the best in the industry. 2.3 seconds, where Google also rates the best. I think
Correct.
the chances of you winning the customer goes way down, way down. So I think while we give preference to lot of things that what are my card offers on the website, what are my pricing offer, I think everyone should be equal amount of understanding what is my user experience when it comes to the website. People need to understand technically also that again, I'll jump into a little technical part of the discussion is how my website has been created. Is more on a Java side or more on a HTML side? If
Mhm.
it's more on a Java side, the people who are on the technical side understand Google while crawling doesn't give that kind of value, indexing value to the HTML, sorry, Java, and they would like to crawl more on the HTML side. So
Correct.
what you are showing to the customers is also important. Eventually, you are paying because SEO will start affecting for that kind of pages. And once the SEO starts getting
Correct.
affected, you are putting more money to bring your collection page or website again on top and again on top. Uh, so to answer your question, everything is super important. Okay. It's not that, this website speed is a less important subject or something 1 or 2 seconds here and there is okay. No, no. It's quite important. I think today's time, the attention time with the screen is coming down day by day. We are talking about, with the quick commerce coming in, the normal product which I was ready to wait for 2 days used to come from Amazon, Flipkart. Now we want it in 10 minutes. The earlier, the video timeline YouTube was there. People used to watch 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes video. Now that with the reel, it is coming in 18 seconds. Yeah, the attention is coming down. Seconds are becoming important. So it's very, very important factor.
Nice. Amit, I would love to summarize a couple of takeaways so that it's on top of our mind for the users, also for the listeners. I think the first piece that you called out was on site speed and how it impacts conversions. So having focus on granular points within the site speed, LCP, FCP for different page categories and other things. It'll be nice to also probably touch upon what would be best ways to understand site speed on ground, because I've had so many conversations with customers where they say that they want to improve site speed, but there is no way to understand what is happening on the ground. In my office, I can experience it, and it looks like my site opens very quickly, but my customers keep telling me, my users keep telling me that site is slow. So that's one angle. We'll probably trip down on that a little more. The second, you spoke about personalization. I think that stands for itself. Before festive season, or generally speaking, also there should be a check as to, do I have personalized workflows for my user? Will I be able to show things that that user wants to really see? Do I even understand my user to for me to personalize? Have I collected enough data about the user? Um, you spoke about um, I think it revolved around these two. Amit, am I missing something beyond this, where we can categorize as a category that this is another check that we should? We spoke about security. I think you went on to security as well. And two
Spoke
months
about,
before.
I think the SEO and Java speed is also
Okay.
critical.
Yes. Perfect. Yes, making a website which is not only smooth for users, but which is right for Google crawl also, is very important uh, in festive season, particularly when so many new products, so many new offers are going to come up. How do you? Hey, I think there's a question which is very relevant to that itself. When we launch offers on our website, very often it takes so long for the offer related keywords to reflect in search results. Right, that's exactly what we are talking about, and that's offer expires by that time. How can we solve this? Yep. um, any thoughts, Amit, on that?
Uh, See, I think that largely any brand starts with things that, okay, in the ad copy, let's start putting up all the right keywords. Okay, change the ad copy, add the keywords, and get it right. But nowadays, you have the right search engine accelerators also, which you can put it on your website. Those can really help the things. There are many search engine accelerators which, if you feed it in a right way, can really help into the brand in a much better manner. Because the keywords which you know what should be searched for, that they are looking for, say, particular offer, particular brand, particular product, and then your ad copy will have those. But suddenly you're expecting them to come is not gonna happen. So if you use the search engine accelerators, if you do not know how to do it in a structured way, I think the shortest way is those.
Awesome. Yep, absolutely. It's the point. I think that also ties back into what you were saying earlier about Java's driven sites versus HTML. Search engine accelerators, I think, particularly help you with that. You can keep focusing on building a site which is good for the end user, but the accelerator will take care of making it very fast for Google crawl. So whenever you put in your offer pages or new prices or new products, they get crawled very quickly because you're not exposing Google to a Java heavy site essentially on that. Amit, would love to hear some real life stories, some examples in the D2C or e-commerce world where someone has done something critical, you've done something, or your peers have done something which you find is exemplary, which gave them an upper hand over the competitors, especially during festive season.
Uh, so just
I'm
for
putting on
the
a spot.
yeah. But in the interest of the data privacy and the things with the brand, I will not take with the brand names, but I have done this in the previous my stints and different stints also. I think what web in the website today, largely people, when the website speed becomes a challenge, the major of the conversation with the D2C heads or the founders, what I had, shall I change my platform? I work on X platform. I
Hmm.
think that platform is not doing. I did some research. I spoke to a couple of my peers, friends, everything. They suggested that their website is on this platform. It works great. It loads great.
Hmm.
And then after they do that, also they change the platform. Do not see any result, and they see, oh, was my previous platform good enough, or shall I shift to headless commerce and do it my own?
Hmm.
And the entire vicious circle starts there. I think
Hmm.
be it on any platform, I think one needs to understand the website loading speed gets changed because of the content and the image content which you're loading onto it. And there are a lot of image compression tools comes to this. Like every platform will have their own compression tool to an extent, but there are boosters which are there. Why I'm using the word as a boosters? Because one has to understand there are tools which has comes. So if one says that, today there are 15 lakh sellers, and why Myntra, Flipkart, and Amazon, their websites load so fast, irrespective of having so many sellers, so many images. Obviously, they have been using this technology for last so many years or last past few years. Can't you adopt that technology in a smaller way for your own website and reduce the speed of this? I think if you do that, I think that's the first win. I have done it in the past, and our website used to load around 18 seconds, and that come down eventually to 3.8 seconds. So where is 18 seconds? Where is 3.8 seconds? We further optimize, and then we saw it on every device. That website started loading in 2.5 seconds. I think it's a technical win, but that technical win gives you conversion substantially. We saw the improvement in the conversion. We saw uh, drop add to cart to conversion got increase. Uh, we saw the bounce rate decrease because of that. We saw that the people who were adding into the cart and leaving the cart also started more doing it. And even your martech tools, which are also running behind to nudge the customer in different journeys, their results get improved faster. So yes, in my stints I have used this. It has worked fantastically, and I think people need to be more aware about the technical stuff of these things, how they can optimize. As I just mentioned, we should the brand should look in democratizing the speed, irrespective of the device or the customer is based out of any tier two, tier three cities where his internet is working on 4G, not on 5G also. Still, he should get the best loading speed. Why he should experience a different speed? And he has the purchasing power and he has a capacity to buy your product. So isn't it a duty of us a brand to give us same experience to him what we are giving it into Metro City who is using a Pro phones? I think I'll leave you with that thought. I think that's the answer there.
Absolutely perfect. I mean, I agree 100%. The key for this generation of D2C brands to succeed, especially from that view lens, where you want to give your users a fast experience on the site because attention spans are decreasing. The key is going to be not to be good for a general user, but to be good for each and every user. So democratization of that lens of how a website loads is it's a great idea over there. I think the boosters that you spoke about, those plugins tech that comes with it, have I've also seen those accelerate websites significantly. But the example that you gave was amazing. 18 seconds to 3 seconds and 2.5 seconds is an incredible journey. That's not 5-10% improvement. We are talking about a massive change in the ballpark figure itself. Um, that's great. Amit, I'm again going to put you on the spot. Any other examples from your experience which you think our audience can benefit from?
Uh, since this for the benefit of audience, people who give as much of importance to the UI and UX, they should give more importance to the uh, what is the technical language of your website, as I was mentioning. So the Google, when it crawls, Google has an annual budget, and annual budget goes for all the billion sites which has. So whenever the crawler comes to your website, so the if the those pages are more on a HTML front, and assuming that you have already compressed the images to the best of the extent, so then it becomes a much easier for him the Google to crawl your page and give the best of the ranking and SEO improves. Now you say, no, my entire product pages are made in Java and everything. What shall I do? Shall I go and rechange it? No, don't do that. There are tools. Actually, the tools takes your Java page. They mirror them into HTML. And when the crawler comes, they actually put the HTML page in front of the crawler. The crawler goes with the HTML page, while the Java page remains in the back, and it does your job. And your that's how your search engine, the SERP gets improved and the SEO score gets improved. But very few people are aware about there are such kind of tools also which are available. And those tools, if everyone starts understanding and utilizing, I think that it's a phenomenal work which will happen. The people who have already made their website with 30-40% or 50-60% with the JavaScript, they don't have to invest too much of money just to shift from Java to HTML.
Absolutely. Amit, great point. I think in conjecture to that, one thought that comes to my mind is very often there is a misconception in the SEO world that Google wants your the feed that you give to Google about your website should be exactly the same as the feed that you give to your users, and Google needs it to be equal. I think that's a misunderstanding of Google's ask, and I want to call it out because I think our viewers can probably benefit from that. But when Google talks about that, give me the same website as you're giving to your users, it is only talking about from a content perspective. Give me the same content that you're giving to your users. It does not care about technically what that site looks like on the back end. So if say for example Google does not want to crawl your functionalities of the site, it just wants content. It does not want to crawl your ads, it does not want to crawl third party integrations or analytics scripts. It does not need any of that on the website. Neither is it going to really access it, neither are you going to benefit from it when Google crawls over there. So giving a site which is loaded with UX components, loaded with JavaScripts, loaded with third party integrations, ads, is just an overkill for Google to process. Google is going to penalize you for it. If you were to give a simplified version which would have all of your content but does not have this heaviness, Google is going to love you, and you will see that love coming in the form of increasing your SERP rankings because your core web vital increases. Your amount of you spoke about Amit, you spoke about the crawl budget in terms of how Google comes with that limited crawl budget. Google will start crawling more pages in that crawl budget if you give it lighter pages essentially to work with, and brands can essentially achieve that. They don't have to crack their heads on tech efforts to do that. There are plugins available, there are boosters available which can accelerate your pages for crawl. Great.
So
um,
one thing
yeah.
I'll add it while you spoke. You mentioned about the analytics. I think in the today's time, uh, people should understand on the website what is their user behavior analytics as well. And uh, and you can actually real time understand the user behavior analytics. There are there are tools which you can use to understand the real user monitoring. And if you understand those how those tools can be plugged into your brand.com, I think you can monitor the user behavior and understand the granularity of their behaviors, and you can change their experience as per their behavior. Because we generally the brands do the comparison. Okay, I have seen that the X brand does it in this way, so they are getting this result. Y brand is doing in this result. I think it's very important to understand for your brand, your price point, your product, the product of the color and the choices you are given. What is my real user monitoring am I doing? And what is his or her behavior? And that analytics is far more important. See, we spoke about the technical aspects like page speed, everything, but eventually whom you are selling, it's a user. And do you know that user how it's behaving and how his behavior changing based on what you're offering it to? If you understand that, I think that's the last arrow in your arsenal which you can use it.
Thanks, Amit, for sharing this. um, I would encourage our users, if you're finding this interesting, if you think there are questions that you have that are unanswered, please feel free to post that in the comments. If you agree with some of the things that we're saying, but you've not tried it out, share that as well. If some of this is new for you, you might want to call that out so that we also get to know what our viewers are already aware of, what our viewers are learning fresh from this conversation. It'll be nice to have some to and fro over there. Throw that in the comments over there whilst we have the last 5 minutes of the session right now. I see one question that's coming in. I believe Amit, you already spoke about this. There's a correlation between site speed and conversions. But I think for the viewers, if you can just maybe repeat the correlation that you called out.
It's a simple thing. You decrease 1 second into your site speed, your conversion can improve by easily 5, 6, 7% based on the product you have. Your customer satisfaction can change it from 12% to 16%. I think those metrics are very easy to be proven. I think site speed is the essence. There is no doubt about it. Uh, so any myths or any misconception that, my site speed at double digit is good. I think those are myth. So I'll put it in that way.
Nice. Perfect. Folks, feel free to add in more comments, more questions if you feel that some topic was interesting and you would want us to discuss that more. In the meantime, whilst those comments flow in, on a closing note, Amit, I would want to ask you if there are top three things out of this conversation, or something maybe that we didn't yet cover in this conversation. Top three advice that you would want to give to D2C and e-commerce brands that they should be focusing on in this festive season, especially if now the festive season is not yet over. We're in the middle of it. We still have a week to go. Is there something they can do now that will change the game for them even in the next 1 2 weeks?
Uh, so ideally, every brand should plan better.
Mhm.
Uh, the major success lies in the planning better and understanding what they want to achieve. But if that has not happened to an extent, and if there are 1 or 2 weeks left, I think take the help of the tech. Okay, sounding a little more rhyming while I'm speaking it, but take the help of the tech. At this point of time, you can, as I was mentioning, use the tech tools which can deploy in 24 to 48 hours and improve your site speed. Okay, there are tech tools. They are very simple to be deployed. They will compress the entire website loading time, and if you are at 18, 20 seconds, can at least bring it down 25, 30%. That every percent down is great impact to you. If your website is you are aware as a technical expert or being a D2C head that okay, my website is largely fashion, it's more Java loaded, or I'm dealing into jewelry, it's more Java loaded. Don't worry, use tools. Use tools, make it more HTML friendly so that your SEO will start working. You are running your brand and you are not only you are looking into the platform based dashboards and understanding what kind of analytics I am. Please get understanding using a RAM tool. Okay. Long term security is very, very important. Use VAPT. Again, I'm put it vulnerable assessment and penetration testings. Please understand what is for your website. If you're not assessed, a lot of bots can crawl, they can create an issues, and then you will end up facing too many things for this. I think tech is there to help any brand in the next 1 to 2 weeks if they are asking that, okay, I'm just Diwali is about to start. I have 4 or 5 days left. Please use the tech tools. They can be deployed in 24 hours.
Thank you. I think we have one last question from our viewers. What are some key user behavior signals that brands should watch in real time to optimize shopping experience?
I think you should look into your customer journeys, how the customers are buying you. Anytime you will able to track those journeys via different tools. And if you are getting some signals, okay, these journeys are working, these journeys are not working, please understand customers behaves in a particular fashion in India. Be it when the sale starts, when the sales peak, when the Saturday comes, when the Sunday comes, when there are BAU days, and every brand, every product are you will be able to track those patterns. You need to understand the God is in the data. You need to understand how this what signals are coming for your brand. And if you have understood those does data, I think real-time optimize can be done based on different tools which I mentioned in the last 30, 40 minutes. And those tools can come to your help much easier way. But if you have not understood where is the problem statement based on the data, then identifying tool itself also is a task. Then you're lost in a labyrinth and then you're actually trying to find a solution around it. It's
Correct.
which then it's going to be difficult.
Correct. Amit, with this, I got a thought. Something hit me when I was reading that question. When you said that you have to understand user journey when you're tracking user behavior, user journey is a key thing to be aware of. One thing that hit my mind was, for a large number of brands, one of the things that I was involved in the past was not only understanding user journey, but taking that to a step ahead, which is predicting where the user is going to go next. And again, that's an area where AI today is playing a big role in predictive analysis of what this user is likely to do next, and that makes it very exciting. One, if you know where the user is going to go next, you can customize that page for them in real time, and that takes a bit of effort, but you can automate that journey and that effort, and that gives a wonderful result, because you again tying it back to when you called out that personalization is key. Personalizing it in real time is something very few brands today do it, which means it's open field for most D2C brands to crack that code and get an edge over competitors. But the second piece is, again, from a site performance standpoint, if you know where the user is going to go next, there are tools available out there which can allow you to push the next page of your site onto the user's device before the user is asked for it. So by the time they make up their mind that they have to click on that link and go there, that page is already there on their device. It will load in no time, essentially, and that will look like a magical experience. I clicked on it and the page was there because it loaded in the background in advance. So there's a lot of potential in understanding user behavior and user journey, and using it to your advantage.
True, I think as you rightly mentioned, the predictive and personalization is going to be a game changer. Uh, See, just look at the festive time. If someone is in the fashion industry and wants to buy a full set, every brand has a sub name for his or her products. How many sub brand names one can remember? Okay, and he's
Yeah.
clicked on particular ad and gone to the website and see, okay, and he or she gets an important call, and you just go on to the call and the journey gets broken there for some reason. Are you gonna remember that what is the sub brand name which I had actually clicked and got into this? Because I clicked one random ad which came into the Instagram, I liked, I went, something happened, call happened, some important email has come or WhatsApp has come, I want to reply. That entire thought went out from my mind, and after 2 hours, you're just trying to recollect from your short-term memory what was the name of the product. You remember the brand, but brand is offering already 2000 different products. Now, if the
Correct.
entire game is personalized, and he and she is able to exactly come when they open, okay, I know this is the brand, and they come onto the brand.com and exactly go to the personalized page where they have left it.
Mm,
It's a game changer. And
correct.
if I know that I bought one product today, and if one knows the product life cycle journey, and we decide, okay, to upgrade and start giving a nudges to upgrade towards with an AI, okay, now you can upgrade with this product. I see you have been, let's take an example. If that comes, that AI predictive tool, it's going to be great. I'll take an example in my industry only. If I'm a daily walker and from my walking journey, I want to convert it into now a runner journey. Let's see, I just want to run a half marathon. And if
Correct.
someone nudges me with a predictive that, okay, uh, this person has purchased two walking shoes. Now the third purchase should be a runner shoes. And if the predictively it starts showing me the runner shoes, fantastic, nothing like it. I think the entire advertising cost and the business game will change across industry if this happens.
Yes, those are likely the cards that will play out in the next 1 to 3 years. Anyone who adopts it first is going to be ahead of the game, essentially. Great. Amit, I thank you firstly for taking out this time. This was a very exciting conversation for both me and our viewers, I hope. For our viewers, I have one comment. If any of these things that we've discussed directly address your problem statement, send out a mail to us. You must have received an email from us as an invite for this event. Use that thread, reach out back to us, call out what your problem is. If you want to know about any specific tool that can help your business, any specific area that we covered, and you want more guidance on how you can drill deeper into it, into that problem statement and solve it for you, Amit and I are over here for you. Feel free to respond back on that mail, or on in the comment section. My team can drop email ID where you can directly reach out to us and share more questions with us, continue this engagement. With that, I think we come to a close. We're almost at the top of the hour. I do see one more question that has come. Amit, are you open to one more question at this point?
Sure, sure.
Perfect. I think it's on our screen now. right? Most of the e-commerce sites have large mobile users. Yes. Can you share some best practices to ensure optimization and personalization can really change their experience? All right. I think it has an overlap with something you had covered early on into this conversation. Some of our viewers might have also joined in slightly later. For them, could you maybe recap what can we do for mobile users, particularly maybe in tier two, tier three cities? We'll have actually more and more of only mobile users and no desktop users essentially. Anything that we can do?
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, please use the image compression tools, use the RUM tools, real user monitoring tools, understand what's happening with the site speed, use the site speed analysis tools. Security is a very great impact, and try to use the more and more tools which are available in the AI segment. I think if you use all these tools, I think the large community benefited is mobile users only, because today it's very difficult to understand. Today you get the data that which brand mobile they are using, but what type of screens they are using, what kind of RAM they are using, it's very difficult to understand, because the technologies are changing, the loading speeds are changing every time. Um, but I think it's very important to give a seamless experience to every user. So use the tech tools. That's all, and understand the. Just don't understand that my website is built on this platform and I have great images and I have this. Understand the tech bit more. Take the help of the tech team, and if not, take the help of the external teams who can help you and understand what product it is.
Thank you, Amit. I think well called out. Mobile is a difficult game. Desktop is relatively easier. There's so many variations in mobile. My device 5 minutes before and now will have different characteristics. There are so many background processes that are running, and users have a wide variety of devices itself in the market. So all of that put together makes huge number of permutation combination, which is a nightmare for someone to manually code in and solve this. So yes, relying on tools which do it is a easier and a better option to go with. Absolutely great. Hey, with that, I think we are at the top of the hour. On a closing note, I want to thank everyone who joined us for this. Again, if you found it useful, even if you don't have a question, drop us a comment to tell us that you found it useful. Tell us if you want more of such sessions to happen. And Amit, once again, thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. I mean, and everyone have a nice weekend. Have a nice evening ahead of you.
Okay, happy Diwali to all in advance.
Happy Diwali. Take care. Bye, Amit.
Take care.